Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me. And that was lovely. I didn't know how much I needed to hear those words as well before coming up here. So I'm Ruby Mitchell, and right now I'm AI Operations Director at Kraken Technologies, one of the sponsors here today. And when I was asked to do a talk on facing the unknown, it made me really, really excited because I think over the last decade, that would summarize my whole career, going through year on year of new challenges, feeling that haze of what am I doing? Where are we going next? Working with a company that's grown so quickly, having to keep up with that growth and having to grow myself even faster. And always feeling like the next step is uncertain. And although at times you have the haze of challenge, um, what it has allowed me to do is be really comfortable in ambiguity. I think that's a real superpower if you're able to master that and be okay with not knowing what's going to come next, but the fact that you're going to put your best foot forward and work with people to try and do well at whatever that is. So I spent the last 5 years working in client delivery. So going out to other energy utilities and delivering Kraken as a platform, but not just delivering the tech, but also delivering a way of operating, a way of working. And I really came out of that with such a passion for transformation of how people come together as a group. You might be selling the exact same product, but it's how you do that that really separates you from the rest. It's how you work together, how you are maybe faster than everyone else, or maybe you're a bit more considerate to your customers. And that is what makes you different out in the marketplace. So going through that 5 years and seeing the difference it can make on how people work, I really love the idea of organizational change. And with AI as a topic and often a buzzword as well, I really feel that this is something that every single person as an individual and all companies are going to have to undertake. A major organizational change will happen on what technology we're using every single day. And we've been there before. I don't know if think about digital transformation, that was all the rage about a decade ago. And I'm sure there'll be something else coming down the line, but this is going to be a major transformation. So I wanted to talk to you from the perspective of that new change that's going to come into everyone's lives and how you might be able to utilize it, or maybe how you can approach that topic in general. So change is scary. I think that's my big number one takeaway that everyone probably knows already. Whether it's in your professional life or whether it's in your personal life, having something change your normal and what you're comfortable with is not nice. And Elizabeth Kubler-Ross spoke about the change curve. So you start at shock. Oh, really? Are computers and are really going to be able to do what humans do? No, that sounds crazy. Then you start a denial. Oh, well, actually, it's just not as good as people and there's no point. And it's not even increasing productivity. So let's just ignore it. You then get to a depression stage and you start to think, oh, this is really scary. I don't like how this feels. And then she spoke about the next stages when you come into that experimental stage. Actually, it helped me write an email that it would have taken me hours to do and get my phrasing really well. I can see the benefit of that, actually. And then you get into integration. So this is thinking about, okay, now it's a part of my life. Now it's back to that comfortable. You come out of the challenge haze and it's something that you feel you can handle. So where are you on the curve? Where are we on the curve? And it doesn't need to be with the technology change that's coming down the path, but also something for you as individuals. I think going back to ambiguity, there's so much that we don't know coming up. There are so many predictions out there that are really loud and noisy, saying, the world's going to change robots are going to take over. These are all just predictions, though. The fact is, we don't know. So when you're in a position of uncertainty and you don't know, what can you then cling on to? What can you utilize to help make your everyday much easier? And for me, it's thinking about, okay, what is in my control? What can I do today? You then have another circle, which is what is within your influence. And then the other circle, which is the favorite circle to play in. It's a lot of fun, but it's what's in your concern. And actually, that is where you need to be spending the least amount of time, because whatever's in your concern, you actually don't have the power to do anything about it. So if I expand on my AI example, the concern, AI in the way that they train it has a lot of bias. That is a genuine concern, but me as an individual can't do anything about that. But I can talk to you as a group about raising awareness there. And I can talk to my peers and raise awareness and think about the systems we build in our own company and ways of working, have that awareness at the front of my mind to be able to influence others to do the same. And then what's within my control, so what I'm looking for when I see outputs, what I'm advising, in my prompts into some of these systems, how I want my peers to consider their outputs as well. So that's where I really want to focus a lot of my energy. Always in this world of ambiguity and immense change, what you can control is how you show up and how you approach that change. Your behavior is the only thing at the end of the day you have any control over. And some people find that horrible. I, myself, find that very reassuring. So when you go into using new technology, how are you approaching the change? What's your mindset in when you approach it? Are you curious? Are you open-minded? Are you willing to jump straight to the experimentation phase where you're seeing what works for you? Or are you getting stuck in, unwillingness to try something different? Fear, which is, often what holds us all back. And how you then can show up will then help define your ability to thrive in this new world. I always say to people, who you are as a professional will then enable what you're able to do. If you're someone that is like, yes, gosh, this sounds scary, but let's just try it together, then people want to work with you and you're going to get so many more opportunities in the future. So we've spoken about risk of some of the biases we're going to see come through in an AI world, but I also see it as an ultimate leveler. It's going to give opportunities to people that didn't have them before. Where we used to rely on contacts or education, engagement and understanding, what you see is what you know. If you don't see it, then you don't know that it can be achieved often. AI actually will enable someone who has no techie friends or doesn't really know about graphic design to then build their own website and maybe finally make that side hustle into a business that they weren't going to be able to do before without a lot of funding. I've seen that already with a couple of my colleagues who have taken the initiative to solve a problem that they were facing with clients that would have taken months and months of development time to do beforehand. So although, yes, there's going to be a lot of bias considerations we need to have, there's also a lot of opportunity for each individual. So I really encourage everyone in this room to be open-minded, be curious, and see the benefits it can bring to you yourselves as well. I wanted to just start closing off by thinking about humans, because humans are just so essential. When I spoke about my passion for organizational change and transformation, what I really care about, like, yeah, the tech's cool, but what I care about is how people feel when they go through the journey. How people feel when they see something that's going to bring benefit and then suddenly get excited and impassioned. And you can't do anything in life without bringing people on that journey and getting humans buy-in. Everyone is the main character of their story, and you need to be able to think about what is in it for that individual. But we can't, when we're pushing forward, especially change when we think about AI, it's so important that like all humans are engaging and going to be able to hold the systems we're creating to account, to make sure that we are creating systems that are considering women, and that's a voice that's loud in the outputs that we're getting. Also considering anyone who is from an ethnic minority or from just a different background that's not so mainstream and spoken about. And we need to make sure we're driving so much more data to give all of those people a voice. So humans are going to be so fundamental in bringing that creativity that can drive these new ideas. I have someone at work, I get asked the question, oh, but AI isn't very creative. Why would you want to use it? And I think, thank goodness it's not very creative, because what would we be doing? I think it's really important to have that line, and we need to be coming up with ideas and utilizing the new technologies as a partner that can enable us to be better and can enable your creative ideas to become a reality that maybe it couldn't have before. And it's even more fundamental to make sure that all human experiences are also built into those outputs. And that's why events like this are so important. And voices like yours are really important. So make sure you're putting opinions out into the world that can be used to train and build this new technology as we move forward. So I wanted to close with, yes, change can be really, really scary. But if you are able to really take ownership of that fear and that feeling in your chest, recognize it and put it to a side and know, actually, as long as you're with the right people, trying to work it out, being open-minded, being curious, you're going to move forward. And you don't know where it's going to take you, but if you're there with the right mindset going in, then I'm so sure it's going to be to somewhere positive. And of course, you can only control how you show up to the situation and who you are in those moments of change as well. So focus on that. It's going to be your superpower, and the rest should fall into place. Thank you.